This module will outline the basic components of Agile Project Management to provide you with a framework to help with your understanding of the approach. The philosophy of Agile Project Management will be explained, and each of the principles investigated, and how they support the Agile Project Management philosophy.
Each diagram here represents a main component of the Agile Project Management framework. We'll take a brief look at each of them. The philosophy overarches the way we do things. This is supported and underpinned by the 8 principles, which describe the Agile Project Management attitude and mindset. The life cycle supports the principles. These are key factors that need to be in place for DSDM projects to deliver successfully. The roles and responsibilities covering who does what are shown in the form of an alien baby. Then we have the products that are produced, when they are created, and how they evolve through subsequent phases. Lastly, there are techniques such as Moscow prioritization, iterative development, time boxing, facilitated workshops and modelling. If you haven't already done so, take a look at the Agile Primer under Support Materials to familiarise yourself with these components.
This diagram shows the basic difference between a traditional and a DSDM approach. On a traditional project, 100% of the features and full quality are promised at the start. When problems occur, typically the deadline slips, time varies, and this usually increases costs. More people are assigned to work on the project, which also increases costs, and often still results in time slippage as newcomers are brought up to speed. Quality is also viewed as at risk, simply because testing comes at the end of the life cycle, as does documentation, so it is often skimped. It is common and also bad practice for customers to try and fix features, cost and time. They will say, "I want it all by this date with this team." This is usually impossible, and it is important to agree up front what can be negotiated if problems occur. Agile Project Management takes the opposite approach. Early in the project, typically at the end of foundations, a deadline, costs and team size are agreed. The quality standard to be achieved is formally defined. The requirements are prioritised and the must-haves for the project are confirmed. If problems occur, then the least important feature will be dropped. Delivery on time of a less than 100% solution is viewed as more important than late delivery of everything. It is important to stress that the least important and least valuable features are negotiable.
The Agile Project Management philosophy is that any project must be aligned to clearly defined strategic goals and focus on early delivery of real benefits to the business. It's vital that stakeholders buy into the philosophy. The key stakeholders, including the business and technical representatives, need to have a good understanding of the business objectives for the project. The solution development team needs to be empowered to take decisions about the development. There needs to be a great deal of collaboration between all stakeholders to ensure the solution meets the business needs. The business needs to understand that they will get a working solution on the agreed date, but that it won't always be 100% of the solution. When first using an Agile project management approach, the stakeholders will have concerns. They'll say, "So you can't always say at the outset exactly what I will get in the end." Their concerns are allayed by explaining that they will be defining what is important to meet the business needs, and that the majority of the discussion is around the finer detail of the deliverables and not the major requirements. Change is inevitable, as more is understood about the solution being developed.
The 8 principles support the Agile Project Management philosophy. They represent an ethos, a culture and a way of working. They give guidance on the attitude and mindset required for Agile project management in order to deliver a consistent approach. Breaking any of the principles will be a risk to the integrity of the Agile processes and to the success of the project. The principles are based on best practice in its truest sense. They define the way things are done. The first principle is focus on the business need. The second principle is deliver on time. The third principle is collaborate. The fourth principle is never compromise quality. The fifth principle is build incrementally from firm foundations. The sixth principle is develop iteratively. The seventh principle is communicate continuously and clearly. The eighth principle is demonstrate control. Each of these will be looked at in detail over the next 8 lessons.
Focus on the business need underpins the fact that every decision taken during a project should be grounded in what the business actually needs. A project is a means to an end, not the end itself. A sound business case is at the heart of every project, and it should be based on what the business priorities are. Ongoing commitment from the stakeholders is essential to ensure that the project will satisfy the business priorities. Agile Project Management has a high level of direct involvement from the business representatives on projects and in project teams. A lack of commitment to providing resources from the business to an Agile project team is often the source of failure for Agile projects. Managing stakeholders so that the business delivers on these commitments is critical. If the business is not involved, or if they do not deliver on their commitments, even an Agile project with the best team of developers in the world will fail. The minimum usable subset represents the must-have requirements defined using the Moscow technique. The business roles that are defined in Agile Project Management ensure there is a high level of business involvement in the project. The business products that are created in the foundations phase provide a clear statement of the business vision for the project. The prioritized requirements list by the end of foundations defines the overall scope of the project and is prioritized using the Moscow technique. This defines the high-level must-have, should-have, could-have, and won't-have for now requirements for the project. Time boxing is used to control the creation of the low-level products in an iterative way, and the application of the Moscow technique prioritizes these low-level products to ensure the time boxes finish on time and are continuing to meet the business need. These two techniques contribute to the successful application of this principle.
On-time delivery is often the single most important success factor for the business. Late delivery can undermine the whole rationale for the project, especially if there are market deadlines or legislative deadlines. The two key techniques that support this principle are the use of time boxing and the application of Moscow prioritization. Time boxing concentrates on delivering on time at the lowest level, which means on-time delivery at the highest level is guaranteed. Moscow prioritization of the requirements within the time box and continually reviewing what can be achieved in the agreed time frame ensures that time boxes finish on time every time.
Teams collaborating and working in an active spirit of cooperation will always outperform groups working only in loose association. Collaboration encourages increased understanding, greater speed, and shared ownership of the project. Stakeholders are involved at the appropriate time throughout the project, and it is this close collaboration with the development team that empowers the team members to make decisions about the development. The roles of business sponsor, business visionary, and business ambassador are key in ensuring appropriate business representation. The business analyst is responsible for ensuring that the business needs are properly analysed and correctly reflected in the guidance that the team needs to generate the solution. Facilitated workshops contribute to greater buy-in as participants feel more involved and committed, having had the opportunity to participate and contribute to both the content and the decisions made. This helps to build rapport and fosters a team spirit.
In Agile Project Management, the level of quality should be defined at the start of the project, and all work should aim to deliver that level of quality, no more, no less. If the business agrees that the features defined in the minimum usable subset have been provided adequately, then the solution should be acceptable. Unlike traditional projects, quality should not become a variable. It is fixed at the outset. The design and testing are driven by the quality required, and documentation should be appropriate to the quality needs. Tests are written before the deliverable is produced, so all parties are aware of what the quality requirements are, and this also enables tests to be undertaken early and frequently throughout development. Early and ongoing testing helps ensure the quality of the evolving solution. Nasty surprises should not occur. On-time delivery is considered part of the quality acceptance for the project. Initial Moscow prioritization of the work and continual reassessment of what can be achieved within a time box ensures that time boxes finish on time, every time.
In order to deliver real benefit early, Agile Project Management advocates incremental delivery. A series of releases is referred to as increments, with each increment providing more functionality to the business. After the first increment, a core product is delivered, which can already be used by the customer. This encourages stakeholder confidence and creates feedback for subsequent increments. Based on feedback, a plan is developed for the next increment, and modifications are made accordingly. This process continues, with increments being delivered until the complete product is delivered. Agile advocates first understanding the scope of the business problem to be solved and the proposed solution, but not in such detail that the project becomes paralyzed. Analysis paralysis needs to be avoided.
The scope is defined and a high-level plan is produced during the feasibility and foundations phases. The project is then developed incrementally through evolutionary development.
Where incremental delivery is about delivering smaller portions at a time, iterative development is about developing through repeated cycles, often adding more functionality to the product. Multiple iterations repeat or return to create a fully integrated product. For example, a website may allow payment by credit or debit cards, but the ability to pay by PayPal may be added within a later iteration. The concept of iteration is embedded throughout the life cycle, down to the lowest level of development time boxes. Agile project management is pragmatic about change, using iteration to embrace change and produce a better solution. It recognises that change is inevitable, and therefore enough design is done up front to create the foundations for development to start. This allows for more detail to emerge and the solution to evolve throughout development. Within the constraints of time and cost, change is actively encouraged via feedback to evolve the most appropriate solution. Constant review ensures that what is being developed is what the business really needs.
Poor communication is often cited as the biggest cause of project failure. Agile project management techniques are designed to improve effectiveness of communication, both for the team and for individuals. It emphasizes the value of human interaction. This is far more effective than communication through large textual documents. The customer and supplier work very closely together in order to break down any potential communication barriers. The solution development team are encouraged to have daily stand-up sessions where issues can be shared and often resolved without the need for escalation. Facilitated workshops ensure a team-based approach to rich communication and collaboration. Many projects benefit from the use of models, prototypes, and mock-ups to communicate.
The project manager takes a more facilitative role in Agile project management, but it is still essential to be in control of a project at all times. This requires a change of style for those project managers who are used to controlling their developers tightly. The level of formality for tracking and reporting needs to be appropriate to the project. Progress is monitored by the delivery of products, and the project viability is continuously evaluated based on the business objectives, which can often change throughout the project. The use of well-defined time boxes with constant review points, plus preparation of management foundations and time box plans, are designed to assist the project manager and the team to follow this principle. Control is not just viewed as a project management issue. This principle applies to the whole team. This module has outlined the basic components of Agile Project Management to provide you with a framework to help with your understanding of the approach. The philosophy of Agile Project Management has been explored, and each of the principles investigated on how they support the Agile Project Management philosophy.